All right, and let's go ahead and get started. Hello, all of you beautiful people out there. Um, Doing some different things here today. Uh, if you haven't noticed, I've got a little avatar there that's moving every time I talk. I'm trying out this cool thing, and if you guys that are watching out there, if you know someone who can do like VTuber stuff, I would love to have my artwork be able to like do more mouth movements. Like not necessarily come up with a full rig or anything like that, but like just being able to move my mouth according to the mouth movements every time I talk. That would be great instead of just having like an open mouth every time I talk like this. So, yeah, if you know somebody or if you are someone who knows how to rig something up for Linux users, do reach out to me. That would be awesome. Um, yeah, so today what we'll be doing is we'll be going over my Hyperlink config, and then we'll also touch on my Waybar config. Now, it is a little bit different from like 2024, simply because I've done some different tweaks here and there. Uh, Mostly a lot of my changes have to do with the Waybar, actually. So it is going to be rather interesting to see how this all works out, how this all plays out. Um, but yeah, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and just get started with what we have here. So everything, like, obviously you want to remove the auto generated line um, for like, I guess, warn, or like, I think that is like at the beginning when you would like get a pop-up saying that it's like welcome to Hyperland or something like that. I don't quite remember, but I do remember uh that I commented it out so that way I wouldn't get that anymore. uh let's see, let's just go on down the the road here. Monitors, I left monitors alone. Haven't done anything with monitors. um let's see. The terminal, I still use Kitty for my terminal, so nothing's changed there. Uh, I think the last time I messed around with Hyperland, I might have been using Thunar. I don't remember Thunar all that much. Right now, I'm just working with Nautilus. I've always enjoyed the look and feel of uh, some GNOME products. I'm not going to say all, but some GNOME products. Um, but yeah. And then instead of using Wofi, I use Rofi because you still can use Rofi in Wayland, and I've already gotten it to a point where I've customized it the way that I wanted to. So it doesn't really do me any good to like go to Wofi. Um, I mean, I can, I don't even know if I'm able to customize Wofi like I can Rofi, but just know that you can run Rofi in Wayland. That's not an issue. Um, Got some stuff to auto start. The nm-applet is my network manager, so that way I can make sure that I am connected and all that good stuff. Um, the QPW graph is in case I need to uh, connect like my mic to my audio, or my speakers rather, so that way I can hear myself when I'm doing live streams or doing videos, just so that way I have that feedback and know how I'm coming across. Um, Waybar, for obvious reasons. Hyperpaper, that's my wallpaper. Uh, so got that going. And I always want to load up Firefox because I'm always using the web browser anytime I'm on my computer. So I just pull up Firefox, go from there. At the moment, I'm running Discord. I've heard of other alternatives that you can use. Um, but yeah, right now, what happens with this code is that so it loads up Discord in my second workspace, which is really nice. And uh, I don't know if I'll ever have any other um, applications that will have its own workspace like that. But Discord I always like to put in its own workspace nonetheless. Um, so with that out of the way, let's. I keep losing focus because my mouse and everything. My mouse is like completely white, and like especially on that white background, it makes it difficult. Um, Environment variables, I left those alone. Uh, don't really need to do anything with the permissions. The look and feel. Yes, the look and feel. Uh, Gaps in, gaps out. I set at 5. I like having that little space in between. The border size, I set to 2. I don't want to set it too big. I think, in fact, I have the uh, border size the same as the border size in Waybar, just because I want to make sure that I have what I need. Um, let's see. What else is there? The active border. I don't know if you guys noticed the border here. This is a rainbow border. I have set it to 90 degrees, but I've set my colors the way that I want them as far as my rainbow is concerned. I've always liked the white and then the rainbow for contrast because rainbow represents color. White is just blank, you know? So whenever I'm on an active window, it shows the rainbow border. Anytime I am on the well, actually, when I'm not looking at a specific window, that's when it shows the white border. That's just so that way I can tell the difference in what I'm looking at, make sure that I'm on the right window, all that good stuff. Um, so then what I do is I set to true, or yeah, set to true and enable resizing window by clicking. So resize on border, yes, I set that to true. I don't want any tearing, so I set that to false. And I think you got 2 options when it comes to your layout. And generally your options come down to, well, do you want your main window to be in the center, or do you want it to be on the left and just have a dwindling effect? So really all that you have is master versus dwindle. And I choose master because I like having my main window in the middle. And what happens is that when you have 2 windows and you're using master, it splits your window to 50% of screen usage. And when you have 3 or more windows on, it sets your main window to 50% and it sets your other windows to 25%. And I do that because if I don't do that, then it looks weird when I only have 2 windows, and I would rather it just be symmetrical. It's just the way I am. Decoration, I have a rounding of 20. And I think it is. I tried to do it somewhat similar to my Waybar, how it has rounding like that. Let's see what else. Rounding power, I left that at 2. I think that was good. I didn't really do anything with the transparency. I thought about doing something with the transparency, but I ended up not doing it. Let's see. What else is there? Yeah, because like if I was to do any opacity change, I would do like 0.9 for the inactive opacity. Just because. Because I do remember on one of my setups, I don't remember if it was Awesome WM or if it was Hyperland. Can't remember which one right off. But I ended up doing like it's either 0.8 or 0.9 for the inactive one. I just feel like sometimes it can be distracting if you have like a transparency on your windows. So that's why I generally don't do it too much. Shadows, I didn't really touch the shadows. I trusted that they knew what they were doing. Blur generally, from what I have witnessed, it blurs when you have like transparency on your windows. Uh, I'm not sure if I like it, but I left them at default. The animations, yes, you do want animations if you want it to look cool. Because I want mine to look cool. Let's see what else is there. Let's see. I think I left everything else alone as far as like the Beziers. Oh yeah, okay. So here's one thing that I did as far as animations are concerned. So I left the animations alone, at least for right now. I might play around with them later on. Border angle. That's the one that I added. I added this here border angle, and what it does is it gives you like this little animation. So let me move off that workspace. Yeah, move off that workspace or window, and then I'll move back to it. Notice how it went in a circle. It looped, and it did it. I think I'm not sure what the numbers represent. I do know that it makes it all shiny, or it makes it brand spanking new, in my opinion. So, yeah, border angle is great if you want to have like your if you've got more than one color in your border. Yes, definitely use it. Absolutely. If you only have one color, it's not going to matter because you won't be able to see it that well, if at all. But if you've got more than one color, it moves your colors around the screen. I thought it was a nice little touch. Okay, so let's see. Okay, I left some of that alone. Dwindle does not apply to me because I don't have that layout. Master, this is what I was talking about earlier. So like the mFact is at 0.5. That means that your main window is going to be at 0.5 no matter what happens. So your new status is going to be master. The orientation I have set to center, so that way it's in the middle. Slave count for center master would be 2. So basically what happens here is that when you have 2 windows, then it just displays 2 windows. When you have 3 windows, that's when it starts to do its center effect. So like all of your other windows are to the sides. Always keep position. No, I like for it to, like whenever I start a new window, whatever that new window is, I want it to be in front of me. So that's why I have it like that. Smart resizing, I left it alone because I'm not sure what that is. Force default wallpaper, no. So I set it to 0 to disable. Disable Hyperland logo, I set that to true. I mean, I appreciate his work and everything. As far as Vaxery is concerned, I appreciate his work. I just don't want the wallpaper and the logo to be forced upon me. And I'm glad that we don't have to have it forced upon us. Um, let's see. Input. I didn't really do anything here. Um, the only thing that I really did was I added a left-handed uh, variable, and I set it equal to false because sometimes so I'm left-handed primarily. I do some things right-handed, but I mostly do things left-handed, and so uh, I was setting it at the time to experiment with it, see what I liked and what I didn't like about it, and we just went from there. Um, Gestures, workspace swipe, I set that to true because I don't know about you guys, but like using a touchpad these days is really nice. It's really nice for me. I enjoy the experience of like, so for me on my touchpad, I use like three fingers to swipe between workspaces. That is so convenient, and the transition looks smooth when I do that. So I definitely have my workspace swipes to be on, and it's under gestures. Um, as far as devices concerned, I didn't mess with that. Key bindings. Key bindings are still experimental for me because I'm not sure if I'm quite happy with my setup as far as the binds that I've set. Um, but I'm still thinking on it. I'm still trying to figure it out if I want it to be set that way or not. Um, so the main mod is going to be your super key. Super key has become really useful in the Linux experience. Um, the so I have a key binding list, and in order to access that, which is also in progress, because I'm having to switch out certain key bindings that I used to have for new ones, and yeah, it's just a work in progress. But um, so basically, what it does is that it executes a program called YAD, and I created a HTML file to set my list of key bindings. So let me show you what that does. So I hit Super Q. Super Q um, allows me to just look at all the different uh, key bindings that I have available. See, like, so for example, I have Thunar set to Super F. I don't even have Thunar on this computer. Um, I would have to switch to Nautilus, and it's now Super N. That's just an example of like some work that I have to do. But um, YAD is great for being able to show you your key bindings in Hyprland, and then when you get done, you just click OK, and you're done basically. Um, so then you've got your different programs. So the terminal, I've always used Super Enter. To kill the active window, I use Control X or Super X. I mean, to log out, I used Super M, and then I use Super N for Nautilus. To toggle floating, I used Super Space. To access Rofi, I just do Super R. To full screen, Super F. Super W will kill my Waybar and then bring it back. Let's see. Super G brings up Genie. Genie is what I'm using now for my text editing purposes. I've always liked Genie ever since I saw Just a Guy Linux use it. It has been very helpful for me. And then Super B executes Firefox in case I've closed out of it for some reason. Um, let's see. Now, Super and F10. The reason I use F10 is because F10 is my print screen. But I don't want to use the function key just to access the print screen. So I've done a couple of things here with this. So when you just press Super and F10, you execute Hypershot. And Hypershot is so super simple. You know, you just hit it and then you click whatever region you want to. Or, well, it depends on what you're doing. So, like, if you want to capture the entire screen, you just execute that Hypershot-M output. It does a really good job of doing that. I've tested it. In fact, that's how we came across this thumbnail for the live stream. Then we've got Super Shift F10, which would capture a window, and Super Control F10 would capture a region. So like you just click and drag whatever you want to screenshot of that region. It's a lot simpler to me than using Grim. I personally prefer using Hypershot. It's just really simple to use. Then you move the focus with your main mod keys, so left, right, up, down, and use the super key with it for the obvious movements. Move window. This was a new one that I added to this config because it wasn't, or I think it was in my last config that I did. I know that at some point I've got to update my GitHub so that way you guys have all the coding here. But I did super shift and then the left, right, up, and down keys to move my window wherever I wanted it to, which is it's really handy. Because I would rather do that than like have to hit super and then left click just to move my window wherever it needed to go. And then for workspaces, you just do super and then whatever number you want to go to for your workspace. If you want to move a window to a workspace, then you just do super shift and then whatever the number workspace that you're on. I commented out the special workspace, which are scratch pads. I'm not a type of person that's really into scratch pads. And then if I wanted to scroll through existing workspaces, generally this is with your scroll wheel. So like this only applies if you've got a mouse that you hook up via USB. But like anytime I use my scroll wheel up or down, it switches workspaces. I have to hold super and then do it. But yeah, it does it. In fact, no, I don't want to try it. I'll try it later. Yeah, I'll try it later. See how it works out. But then you can move and resize windows. If you hold super and left click, you move the window. If you hold super and then right click, you resize the window. And I didn't really do anything with the laptop keys. I left them alone because they work as they're supposed to. I think the only thing different that I did was that I made it 1% instead of like 5%. Just because like I like being able to fine tune if I want to fine tune. And then these other key bindings require player control. So those are just more laptop keys. This new one that I added was because every time I would close my laptop screen or my lid, and then I bring it back, it for some reason wouldn't lock it. So I had to get Hyperlock. And so every time the lid switch is on, I pull up Hyperlock and then I suspend the laptop. I'll get the words out eventually, you guys. I will, honestly. but that's just a little quality of life thing, because I like for my laptop to be logged off whenever I close my laptop screen, and then when I open it back up, I'm greeted with input password, you know. But Hyperlock looks really nice, and I'm able to customize it. And I've still yet to figure out if I'm going to customize my grub or not. I might end up doing that. And if I can find a good enough login screen that I can customize, I might be playing around with that at some point too. Might even do a stream about it eventually. But yeah, so let's see what else is there. Last but not least, we have window rules. So window rules, I've got set that and it really doesn't work for OBS Studio for some reason. In fact, let me just go ahead and take that out. Don't really need it. But Workspace 2 is going to be using Discord. Let's see, I left that one window rule alone. Actually, I left both of those alone. I added some new ones at the bottom, and that's for YAD. That's so that way it will be a floating window. It is set to 1280 by 720, and it is centering the screen. That's what I want YAD to do. And when I pulled it up earlier, you guys were able to notice that it was centered and floating. So, yeah, a lot of cool things there. And that's pretty much my Hyprland configuration. Like, there's really not a whole lot of customization, but it is very powerful, I will say. It's just really, really nice, in my opinion. It has come a long way, I will say. I used to use, back when I was on Debian, I used Awesome WM. And I think I used Awesome WM when I came to Arch. Yeah, I had to have, because I was still using X11 at the time. And if you are on X11, I would definitely recommend Awesome WM, and I have lots of tutorials about Awesome WM on my channel. But these days, I figured everyone else is moving to Hyprland, so I went with Hyprland this time when I installed Arch Linux on this laptop. And so that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Now let's go on to Waybar. That's right, I gotta do a thing for y'all, so that way y'all can see it. In fact, let me go ahead and zoom out on this too. Or zoom in, rather, not zoom out. Just that way you guys can see what's happening here in the code. So, Waybar. Lots of customization, you guys. Totally recommend it. I left all of these alone simply because the default is on top, and the default is however big it wants to make it. And so I let it go at that. Spacing, I don't want any gaps between my modules. You can have gaps between them. I choose not to. And then margins. Margins I kept at 5. And then we have the order of the modules. And the order is as goes. So you've got your custom weather. Or I've got my custom weather, and then I've got my custom YouTube. Well, let me just explain a little bit on this right side after I've finished letting you guys know what's here. Then there's a custom updates icon. There's a CPU, a memory, and a disk. So this is pulling information from OpenWeather API. This is pulling information from Google's API. It lets, as far as the weather, it tells you like your current weather conditions, and it updates every every 10 minutes, just because like, and you can change the interval. Like there, like I'll show you later on about changing the interval, but like I have it set to every 10 minutes just because I like to know the updates like every so often. I don't like setting it too fast, and also don't like setting it too long of a time either. So, um, just finding a happy medium. That's usually the best way to go. Um, yeah. So, YouTube widget tells me my current subscriber count. The updates tell me how many updates I've got in Arch Linux to do. It uses the check updates command in order to pull that information. And so it's really helpful for me to know like when the best time is to make an upgrade to my system. I don't like doing my updates like every couple to a few days is when I'll do my updates, and that's just because by that point there's already like 40 or 50 updates that need to be done. The CPU is letting me know my current CPU usage. Memory is the same way. It's letting me know my memory usage in percentages. My disk is pulling from the home directory, specifically because my home directory is being used in what's the word I'm looking for? The home directory is being in its own partition. That's the word. Partition. Its own partition. And so it allows me to measure how much space I've got left. Because it doesn't do me any good to just monitor the root. Because there's not really anything on the root. Like, just the home, The center. So I've got my little icon here. And that's, when I click on it, that brings up Rofi. And then I commented out Hyprland window that will show you your window that you are on, like what the title is and everything. And it even gives you an icon next to the title of it. I bounce back and forth between having this. Generally, I don't have it, but I have it just in case. Hyprland workspaces. That's my little Pac-Man up here. And if I go to more than one, workspace, you'll notice that there's a ghost there. So they're generally ghosts, but they're only keeping up with my current open workspaces. So let's go back. Kava. So I use Waybar-Kava, or maybe it's Kava-Waybar. It's one of the two. I think it's Waybar-Kava. In order to show the audio visualizer in my Waybar. I've got the clock. The clock is showing the full time, and it's also showing the full date. So nothing really explanatory there. Then we've got the tray. Lets me know what I've got opened. And then I've got a power icon, so that way if I right click on it, it refreshes the Waybar. If I left click on it, then it asks me if I want to log out or suspend, or what do I want to do exactly. And that's with the use of W logout, which is really handy. And I am not sure if I'm going to customize that either. It might come down to a point where I'm like, hey, I want to customize it, but I can't really guarantee anything as far as like what I'm going to do there. The right modules, I don't have too much there. I have network. It shows my down speed and my up speed. Pulse audio is so that way I can monitor my audio to figure out if I'm muted or what percentage I'm on, my speakers. I don't know why I have the microphone input there, because if I wanted to, I could just tap my mic and it mutes it. So it really doesn't do any good there. And I've always got it on 100% anyway. But I always like to make sure that things are where they are supposed to be. So, Just a little quality of life thing. And then I added a new module compared to the last one, to the last configuration. Because the last configuration, I was using a desktop. And using a desktop, I did not have to worry about a battery. But some of you who are running a laptop may have to. So I added a battery module. And before I continue, I just would like to have a little soda in my day. Because I feel like I've been talking nonstop. Oh man. All right. So, back to it. Right? Yeah, it's so hard to see that mouse. I like the cursor. Okay, don't get me wrong. I love the cursor. I can't see the cursor. It needs to have a black outline so I can see it. I do have other options that I like, but I just like the Oreo cursor more. And I might end up switching back to it. But if I switch back to it, then that means I have to log out of Hyprland, which would mean that the stream would end, and I don't want it to end just yet. So definitely not changing that right now. Oh yeah, and then these are just all the different things. So like the module configuration, like this is the configuration for the weather. This is pulling from Python, and it's pulling from a .py script that I've got for the open weather module. And if you click on it, it opens a new tab in Firefox to take me to weather.com so I can take a look more at the conditions and see what's going on there. The tooltip I've set to false. The interval, this is what I was talking about earlier when I said there's a 10-minute interval. So this does intervals in seconds. So keep in mind that 1 equals 1 second, and then you times that by 60, then you got 60 seconds. You times that by 10 minutes, you've got 600 seconds. So, and then 3,600 is an hour. 1,800 is 30 minutes. Just so you guys are in the know-how for that. The format for the custom YouTube module, this I did this shortly after I did my YouTube short on text color in Waybar. Because like you in your style.css, you basically choose what your font color is, but then you can choose certain pieces of your text to be different colors. So like for this one, for example, I set it to red, but I used span color to set the icon to red. And then after all of that, there's like these brackets and the brackets are coming from the execute line, which is just below it, which is using Python 3. It is pulling from my subscribers.py script that I've got. And if you click on it, it takes you to the YouTube studio. For me, that's kind of handy at times. The tooltip is false, even though I did see a tooltip. Bad Waybar. Bad. You shouldn't have done that. But now we go on, because like interval is 600 as well. The app icon, I set the size to 20. The path is basically where my button is coming from. And I used a SVG. And I used the SVG because no matter what happens, your logo is always going to look good. No matter how big or how small, like there's not going to be any blurring in there, and it just stretches it the way that it needs to. So on click, as I was explaining earlier, it pulls up Rofi, and I don't know why I have the tooltip to be true. I have no idea, but it doesn't really matter because it doesn't really do anything in that regard. And then the power icon. So this is an interesting one because I recently learned how to have my executables in a tooltip format. And the way that I was able to do that, let me just go through all this first. So the format, you've got like a power button here, or like the power icon, and then you've got on click, you use W logout. And this is what I was saying earlier. So like if I click on it, it shows me like different options. Like if I wanted to reboot, or if I wanted to shut down or log out, it would let me do that. And on right click, it would kill the Waybar and then bring Waybar back. The executable is using uptime, but I'm using awk to print out my updates, or like my uptime in a certain way. Because like I wanted to show my uptime, but it was taking up too much of the screen. And so what I do is that I just hover over, and sometimes I have to wait a couple of minutes. Maybe never. Come on. Come on, you can do it. Don't fail me now. I don't know why it's not pulling it up. Normally it does pull it up. Like, that's what I was noticing. So I may have to look into that, see why it's not pulling it up. Come on, you can do it. Because this did work. I don't know why it's not working now, but I do have tooltip to be on. The interval is every 1 second, and maybe that's my issue. Maybe I need to set it to every 60 seconds. That would do it. Oh, there we go. Uptime 1 hour 17 minutes. So yes, it does work. But yeah, anytime that you're using an execute and you need to use the execute in a format, always put it in brackets in like your tooltip dash format, or you can put it in format depending on if you want it to be shown in your tooltip or if you just want it to be shown all the time. And now we shall take a moment just so that I can plug in this laptop. You have already seen some of the things that it can do. Like whenever it gets low, it shows like a yellow icon and the battery's not really there and tells you that it's low. But yeah, let's go ahead and just plug this bad boy in. There we go. I have to be careful because like my HDMI cord is right next to my charger hole. Next is updates. So we use the executable for check updates. We do a word count -L, then we awk and print the number that we get. And in the format, I have used span color to change the text to yellow for the icon, and then for the number, it's just white. You know, simple, pretty simple stuff there. Tooltip is false. I set the updates to every 10 minutes. There's no need for you to do it any less than that. And one would argue that 10 minutes is too much. And you might be right. But, you know, that's why you have a computer too, because you can customize that the way that you want to. And I might end up upping it to like maybe an hour, like check it once an hour or something. Who knows? Who knows what I'll do? I have the Hyprland window set up. The only thing about it is that, you know, I don't use it that often, so I don't have a format for it. So, like, format's just title, and then the tooltip was false. The max length I had to set to 25 because it's taken up too much real estate in the Waybar. Separate outputs, true. I'm not entirely sure what that does. It does show the icon. I set that to true. The icon was set to 20 as well. And then Hyprland workspaces. This is where all the magic happens with using span color. So on scroll up, You can move the workspace forward. On scroll down, you move backwards in your workspaces. The format icons goes as follows. You need to. Oh, I'm missing some stuff too. No, I'm not. Active only, I set defaults. All outputs, I set defaults. Format icons, you set it up 1 through 10. You can have more up there if you want to. You're just not going to be able to use hotkeys to get to them. You'll have to scroll to them manually. Unless you set hotkeys in Hyprland. Then that's a whole different story. But, yeah, you definitely want to have each of them labeled on this left side here, and on this right side you've got your span color. If you want to do a Pac-Man thing like I've got going on here, just get like the ghost text, and then like just span color whatever you want to color it to. Your active window, I set mine to Pac-Man itself, and he's got his own yellow color. And if it's urgent, it's going to be one of those Pac-Man dots, and it's going to be white. So that way I know, and to me it looks like it's something that Pac-Man is ready to go eat. So I figured, just a little, just a little flavor, if you will. Cava. Don't even think about doing the Cava config. The Cava config does not work as well as tweaking everything here. So you got all these settings here, and like the frame rate's 60, the auto sense is 1, the sensitivity's 2, bars are 5. And by bars, that just if you're looking at my Waybar now, it shows you how many bars there are. You can see that there's 5 that are moving. And then the lower cutoff frequency is 20. The higher cutoff is 20,000. The method that I'm using is Pipewire. I installed Pipewire, but there's a lot of things that you can use, like PavView Control, for example, that it just works with Pulse Audio. In fact, I could possibly have both Pipewire and Pulse Audio in there. I just, I might not be aware of it. But, yeah, it does show like it's supposed to. So, the source is auto, which means that it's pulling from my desktop audio. And the only reason that you can see the bars now is because I've used QPW graph to link my mic to the desktop audio. And I did that for a reason. That's so that way I can see the bars moving. I've already talked about source, I think. Source is auto. Stereo is false. Reverse is false. The bar delimiter is 0. Monster Cat and waves I have both set to true, because I would like to have a little wave in there. You can't really see the waves unless you do more bars, but if you do more bars, then it takes up more real estate. And I kind of don't want to do that. So, then the noise reduction, I just left at 0.77. The input delay is 1. And then your format icons are as follows. And you want this format icon so that way it shows how much your bars are moving. The sleep timer was set to 5, but that's only applied when you've got hide on silence to be true. Hide on silence will wait however long you set the sleep timer before it just goes away from your Waybar. And in my case, I set it for 5 seconds. But the reason I don't have it there is because if I want to be able to just click on it and it pause or play my audio. And if I scroll up and scroll down, it will go to the previous song or the last song, if that's even an option. But on click, it's supposed to play and pause. So that's the reason why I don't hide on silence. Is because if there's like silence for like 5 seconds or whatever, I don't want it to go away, because I want to be able to just click on it and pause from there. The tray. The icon size is 20, as all the other icons were set to. The spacing is 5. The expand was set to be true, and the reverse direction is false. Here I have set my clock. The time zone is America, New York. Tooltip format. It shows you the calendar. So, like if you, let me see where my cursor is. If you hover over it, it shows you the calendar there. Now, it's not really formatted in the way that I would like for it to, but nonetheless, it does show you a calendar. Looks okay. The format is, I've changed the icons with span color, and then I set like these codes here, so that way it will show like the correct time and date. The CPU, there's not much to it. It just shows the usage in percentage. Tooltip is false, interval is 1. And then memory is, pretty much the same thing, except we just have like brackets here again. Tooltip's false, intervals 1. And then the disk, as I was saying earlier, you've got home, and then your span color for your icon, and then the percentage that is being used. Tooltip is false, interval 1. And let me take a small break once again. Let's see, Shard Mancher, thank you. When I first started on Hyprland, which I did it to test it out to see if it was viable. And so when I tested it out, I was like, I like it, but there's some stuff that was missing. And one of the things that was like a quality of life for me was like getting different colored Pac-Man ghosts. And like I couldn't like that's what was interesting, was that it wasn't until I came back to Arch where I finally found out that like, hey, I can actually change the way that some of the text looks. It doesn't have to all be the same color. And so, I was like, that's pretty cool, because I don't remember ever being able to do that in Awesome WM. Of course, I don't think I even thought about it, to be honest, because the only thing I was thinking about at the time was how cool it was that I was getting the workspaces to work with Awesome WM the way that I had it. But that's neither here nor there. Like it works well for me these days, and I enjoy it. I enjoy the way that it operates, the way that it looks, and all that good stuff. But yeah, let me get back to the config.jsonc. By the way, for those of you who have known me for a while now, you might know that I don't care for JSON, but I have learned to accept it. It's one of those things that I don't really care for as coding, but some people wake up one day and they're like, today's the day where I just want to jump out of a window. And like that, for some people, that window is like not even that high off the ground. It's like maybe 5 feet off the ground. So like some people, I guess the reason I'm saying that is to say that some people like to venture out and do their own thing. So the network, I set the network. I'm using Wi-Fi at the moment. Probably was a bad idea for streaming, but nonetheless, I did use it. I don't have anything okay, so the format for Wi-Fi, Ethernet, disconnected, all that stuff, I'm not using that because I'm using the nm-applet. So it doesn't really do me any good to use those. The format, the important thing is that we've already established that you use span color to change the text. But the things that are different are the icons themselves, and then like bandwidth down bytes and bandwidth up bytes. That's so that way it shows you like your down speed and your up speed at that current time. And the tooltip is false, simply because I have some of that other stuff commented out. The interval is set to 1, and let's see, pulse audio. Scroll step and format alt are commented out, and so is tooltip format for that matter. And I think I had a reason for it. I don't remember what that reason was right off, but the tooltip is set to false. The format, I changed the icon color, and then the volume percent, and then the format source, which puts that in its own percentage. Not sure why that was different from volume, but whatever. The format dash muted basically follows the same principle. So the only difference is that there's an icon change. The format dash source is volume percent. The format source muted has its own icon. The format icons for your speaker, there's three icons there to change back and forth. So then on click, you've got Pactal, set sync mute. I use the default sync and I toggle it. And what was interesting was in, I believe it was in Hyprland, I saw something that was similar to this, and I'm like, why didn't I just use that? But I mean, Pactal works like it's supposed to, so I don't worry about it. And if you right click on it, it opens up PavView Control. By the way, I don't know who's subscribing. I want to thank you guys for subscribing though, because I do see it as I'm talking. The battery. Oh yeah, I got a Bluetooth one, but the Bluetooth I could never figure out how that worked out, so I just kind of left it alone for a little while. But the last one is battery, and for this one, I set the battery equal to bat 0. I set the warning to 19. So basically, what happens is that after 20%, then you get a warning. And then at 10%, it is critical. So that's the way that I've got my states set up for it. The format icons, instead of having 5 icons, I did 10 icons because you got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. And I just duplicated some of them. And by the time you get to like these no battery looking things, like there's no juice in the battery icon, then I changed it to yellow, and then there's one that I changed to red. But then everything else is green. The format goes as follows. You've got your icon, which is being pulled from format-icons. Then your capacity that you've got, and it's in a percentage. And if it's charging, then it's got a separate icon for it. I chose not to change the color of the icon just because I wanted it to be something different. But yeah, it'll show you when it's charging. It'll show you when it's charged, and then it'll show you when there's a warning or when it's critical for your battery. And the interval, I tried to set it to 1 second. I think there was someone who tried to set it for 2 seconds, and then they got a comment in the forums that like, yeah, I don't know why you're doing that. That just seems really excessive on the battery. And the only reason why you'd want to set it at like 2 seconds or even 1 second, if you could get away with it, in most cases you wouldn't be able to get away with it. You'd probably have to use like 2 seconds. But the reason why you would want to use 2 seconds is because if you unplug it a minute or a second after it updates, you've got 59 more seconds before it tells you that it's not charging anymore. And so that's kind of the problem that I've run into with this, is that I don't know if I want to set it to 2 seconds because it does get taxing on your battery from what I understand. So I don't know if I want to up or if I want to down the interval for this. But that is a thing that you have to really think about when you're dealing with the battery. Like just everything that you do, like even on Windows 11, they give you a warning that's like, hey, if you turn on seconds on your clock, then it will drain the battery more. So there's a lot of things that I do that might drain the battery more than it should. It's just those quality of life things, and I may go back and change the interval to like 2 seconds and see how that does. But like, just know that there are some things that you do that can be taxing on your GPU, can be taxing on your battery, and other things like that. So that is the config.jsonc. Let me just make sure that everything looks good still. And it does, from what I understand. So let's go to style.css. They say OTF-font-awesome is required to be installed for icons. Really, it just depends on if you want font awesome, because I'm pretty sure that Nerd Font comes with font awesome icons. And if it doesn't, then you really only need one or the other. So for me, I'm always using Open Dyslexic because I am dyslexic, and it helps me to use this font on my computer, which is one of the biggest reasons why why I've always liked Linux and have always wanted to come to Linux, was because I was able to change my font the way that I want to for accessibility reasons. And so it helps, I would say. But yeah, I set it to Open Dyslexic Nerd Font. The font size is at 16. So basically, the thing about config.jsonc, I did not have it set as far as like a specific pixel, simply because I want it to choose its own based on what my font size is. So that's why you would want to do that. The window Waybar, I'm not sure about the background color, not sure about the border bottom. The color, I think, is in regards to the text. And then everything else is just left alone there. I wouldn't worry about too much of this other stuff. The workspaces button, when I'm not using span color, it's like all of my stuff is usually going to be using background color to be black, and then the colors of the font is going to be white. This style.css only applies generally when you're not using something like span color to change the color of your text and to change what needs to be done that you can't do on the config.jsonc. The workspaces button active, I've got set to the Pac-Man color, I do believe. The urgent one, well, actually, here's the thing about active and urgent. So I've got the color set, but it doesn't matter that I have the color set because the span color is taking over. The span color will always take over whatever you do in style.css. For whatever reason, it does. Workspaces button hover. I set box shadow, text shadow, background, and transition to none. I don't. So like when I hover over it, I don't like there to be any white in the background. Like I just don't want it to be like hovering. Although I do want to try something one day. I want to try and see if I could get away with doing like a rainbow background for it. That would look interesting. And the thing is that I don't even know if I could do it or not. But it would be worth me trying out. And at the time, I was working with these workspaces buttons, like the nth, child, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those were my different Pac-Man ghost colors. That did not work out because I never could get it the way that I wanted it to. But then, whenever you're working in the style.css, you have to list all of your modules that you're using in config.jsonc, so that way it connects to each other. So like, as you can see, all of my modules are in style.css here. And so if you go down to workspaces, You've got like your background color, you got your regular color, which would be white, but that's not really the important part. The most important part, if you want it to have like this is what I consider like my whole entire desktop is what I would consider like a neon rainbow sort of look that I'm going for. It used to be a Windows 95 look that I was going for, but then I stopped because I no longer wanted to do that. I wanted to do something that was my own, and I thought of neon rainbow. And eventually, I do want to make a video where I am just showing off like my ricing, because I can sit here and talk about the configuration all day, but I'm not really. It's not showing you what it can do. So I do want to make a video on that eventually. But what's important about all of these modules here is your borders. The margins don't really matter, but your borders, your top, bottom, left, and right. Generally, what I do is I'll set my top and bottom to be like white and then 2 pixels. But then my border left, I'll have 0, just so that way they all connect with each other and they don't overlap. Because what'll happen is that if you've got a border left on one module and then you got a border right on another one and they're connected together, that's a very thick line that you're going to have. And I just don't want that thick line. So what I do is I set the left to 0 and then border right to 2 pixels. But they're all white nonetheless. But you can make them whatever color you want. So it really just depends. Like sometimes you're going to end up with like, for the most part, you're going to have like your workspaces, your borders. Like that's what's going to be the same on a majority of these. What's going to be different is if you're doing something like custom weather, where you're changing the border radius. Now you're changing the curvature of the module. And so basically what you do is you just set it to like 20 pixels, because I think it is left, up, down, right, maybe. I don't remember. You'd have to experiment with it to really know how that works out, because I don't remember the layout for that. But changing the border radius makes it to where you can have like rounded edges on it. I've always preferred that. But the only time that you're gonna have rounded edges is gonna be like for your weather, your like your monitor. Here is what I would call it. Your app icon, your power button, your internet speed, and then your battery would be like the only ones that are different from your workspaces. And then every other module is just like the workspaces. So there's really not a whole lot to change there. I mean, it's pretty much the same no matter where you go. But yeah, that is the end of my Hyprland Waybar configuration. There's not really a whole lot more that I can really talk about. And I actually got through that. I actually got through it. Today, I had difficulties with my OBS. I don't know what happened, but I got up and I decided that I would start up OBS. Well, here's the problem. I'm sitting there clicking OBS, and it will not pull it up for the life of me. I can't get it to pull it up. And I'm like, I wanted to do a stream today because I wasn't able to do it yesterday. Yesterday was like my day off, but I decided to make videos instead. And like, so I was like, okay, what do I do now? And come to find out, I looked on the OBS Studio website, and they're like, hey, you know what? You can actually you can install it with Flatpak. And at first I'm like, blah, because I don't want to use Flatpak. I'm using Arch because of I get whatever I want in Pac-Man and I get whatever I want in the AUR. I don't want to use Flatpak just for this. But then it occurred to me that, like, if I want to set up live captions, the application for that, I think that is also a Flatpak. So it really didn't matter either way, because eventually I'm going to get live captions on this. But it really didn't matter when it came down to it. Let's see. Payrin, thank you. I appreciate that. Welcome to the stream. Yes, everyone who's here, welcome. Glad you could all make it. But yeah, I had some troubles with getting OBS to work today. So I installed the Flatpak, and then I closed out of it and opened it back up just to make sure that it wasn't gonna not open on me or whatever. And sure enough, everything was just fine. So here's my thought process, right? What I'm thinking is that it was probably a issue with like maybe something that I added in my OBS, like whenever I was putting stuff together, like maybe that's what was going on with it. I don't know for certain, but it just would not pull it up. I even went into the terminal and I'm like, hey, give me my Titan 652. Even though this is the problem with Wayland. The problem with Wayland that I have when it comes to OBS is that it wouldn't let me do the custom browser docs. You can do custom browser docs all day long in X11, but you try to do that stuff here, nope, you ain't gonna get it. That's just the way it is. I think there's like a bug that for years they've been trying to solve. They can't solve it so far. So, I just do what I have to do. And I'll pull up my live chat next to my OBS here. And all that good stuff. So yeah, it was definitely a trying time. But we got through it. We persevered. So, going forward, I showed my configuration in 2025. I don't think that there's going to be anything different that I'm going to do or that I can do with Hyprland or Waybar. There's probably going to be some tutorials out there on how to do certain things. Just like I did with Awesome WM, I'll probably do that with Hyprland. Just so that way everyone has something that they can go to, like something small and short, instead of having to deal with looking at the live stream and just copying what I've got. I do need to, like I said before, I do need to go back and edit my GitHub so that way all my coding is fine. Because, here's the thing about when I came back to YouTube. I had lost, well, I didn't lose it. I accidentally deleted all my files that I had for my video making and stuff, and so I was able. I even deleted all my coding that I had, and if it wasn't for GitHub, me saving it there, I wouldn't have my setup today. I'd have to do everything from scratch, and it would have taken me days to figure it out. Even though that's not really a problem for me because I love tinkering and I love customizing. Everyone should know that about me by now. But it just helped with the fact that I had something to go off of. And now I can go back and I can put the code in GitHub. I might end up doing that today at some point. But let's see, going forward, as I was saying, on Thursday, I plan on coming out with a distro tier list. And don't get too excited about it because there's only going to be like 10 distributions that I'm going to go over. Because, one, I haven't tried a majority of the other distributions that are out there. And two, there's just too many to talk about. There's only like 10 that I really need to discuss. And everything else just kind of, I don't know. I don't know how I would describe that. But yeah. there's anyone out there watching, I'd love to have a discussion. So if you guys have anything you want to talk about, or if you guys have anything that you need help with, now's the time. I might be able to help out with that. If not, I'll probably end up going soon. So I'll wait just a couple of minutes, just to see. CashOS. Um, How do I feel about CashOS? I don't think I've even used it before. Actually, no. I can tell you for certain I've never used it before. Um, I almost got it mixed up with Alma Linux for some reason. Um, but yeah, CashOS, I don't necessarily have an opinion on. I don't even know where it originated from. I could check it out though. In fact, if that is requested, I can do a uh, I can do a review on CashOS and see if I would recommend it or not. It probably wouldn't be in my tier list, just because, like I said, it's fresh knowledge to me. Uh, yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate you coming in and saying hey and everything. I'm glad to have the people here. Um, I'm just trying to give you guys content. Arch distro. Okay, yeah, definitely. Um, I've tried some Arch stuff. I've tried like Arco Linux. Oh my goodness! At the website, it makes it so difficult for me to like figure it out. But yeah, I can do. Uh, I'll have to install like a virtual box and then put it in and see how it works. But yeah, I've tried Arco Linux. I've tried um, Manjaro. Um, and what was another? I thought there was another Arch Linux based distro that I tried. I don't remember. But yeah, let me. I got a pen. Let me write it down. Cache OS. There we go. So I don't know when I'll get to that video because there's some stuff that I got to set up and I got to make sure that everything looks good while I'm doing it. Because this is a new setup for me. Um, so yeah, I'll be able to do that at some point. I think really what it comes down to is that let's see. That's what was great about CashOS. It has a fully guided installer and every DE you could want. They have a solid gaming package. Okay. Yeah, that might be worth checking out then. Um, because I know that there's a lot of people that are interested in gaming for sure. For sure. Um, a lot of people. I mean, I still. Here's the thing about gaming. I still think that they've got a ways to go, but I think at the same time they're not going to have every single game available for Linux. I just don't think that's possible, especially when you got people like Fortnite that just will sit there and go, "Oh, well, we don't like the Linux kernel, so we're not gonna make it available for Linux." Um, yeah, at that point, your only other possibility would be to use something like GeForce Now. You know, um, but yeah, the definitely anything with an installer is good. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I don't feel one way or the other about installers, but I mean, it sounds like a good distro. Um, it's also nice having every distribution you could want because like, what if you don't want GNOME? What if you want KDE or what if you want Cinnamon or um, I think I think it comes down to would I would I want to run a window manager on it? I don't even know if you could do a window. Well, I mean, with it being Arch, yeah, I would imagine you could do a window manager if you wanted to. When I do the review, I would probably end up using GNOME for that though. Just because I don't want to do too much customizations, because like it would just be a review. But um, yeah, Proton works great on cache. I run everything I want. Yeah, so I just set up not Ubuntu, God. Uh, no, I set up Steam. I set up Steam this morning because I was gonna try. I've been trying to do like this VTuber thing. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it because I'm already peaking at around like 50 FPS when I should be doing 60, and I don't know if it's just because I need to make my avatar smaller or my PNG tuber smaller in the app, or what needs to happen. But yeah, it's not holding up too well for some reason. Um, but yeah, exactly got me to try Hyperland. Yeah, so here's the interesting story about Hyperland for me. Hyperland was one of those things that I was interested in trying out because everyone else was going to Wayland at the time. And at the time, I felt like it wasn't time for me to go to Hyperland. Like, I saw that everything was like, here. Okay, so here's the difference between like using Awesome WM and using Hyperland. In Hyperland, you've got options. You've got options that you either set true or false for the most part, and if you don't set true or false, then you just like add in like whatever number that you need to add into it. To whereas something like Awesome WM, there is a whole lot of coding that has to be done, and it's done in Lua, and I don't have a problem with Lua because I worked my way with Lua, and the only thing is that like Hyperland is like really, really simple as a window manager, but it is so powerful too, and that's just something I can't get over, is how powerful it is. In regards to Hyperland, I tried it at the time, and there were certain things that I wasn't able to do with it, so I stopped using it. And then when I came back to Arch, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to use it. And because everyone else is going to Hyperland at this point. In fact, the Linux cast, not too long ago, he did, I think it was a live stream with Brody Robertson or something like that. And they talked about Hyperland is finally good. I can finally go to Hyperland. And so, everyone's moving there. And there's a lot of great things to talk about when we're talking about Hyperland. Like, there's a lot of great things that they've added. That is just a nice quality of life. Oh my goodness, I just realized something. I think my OBS numbers have froze. Because I've been looking at this for like the last 5 minutes. It's still stuck on 55 minutes. So I don't even know how I'm streaming or like how the numbers are going here. Oh, yeah, it does not. For some reason, my system does not like OBS. Like, there are certain things in this that have frozen. In fact, I don't even know if I could stop the stream if I wanted to. That is insane. I can't even. If I wanted to, I can't even. Dude. What is going on with OBS, my dude? Oh, I just wanted to stream today. Okay, yeah, it's still going though. Yeah, it's probably still gonna go. So 2025 is the year of the Linux. See, here's the thing about that. I want to do a video talking about the year of the Linux. Without giving away too much, I don't know. I'm not saying it's not impossible. I just don't think it's very probable that we're going to have a year of the Linux desktop. as much as it would be nice to do that, I just think that everyone is on a different path in life, and what's going to be pleasing to one person is going to be horrible to another person. And so, like, especially if you're not tech savvy, uh, people's not going to want to go with Linux. They want to go with something that's like compatible with everything. Like, and I think Kent talks about this at times where, like, it's fine if you want to customize, but like when you're asking other people to move to Linux, it like you have to be considerate of like where other people are in life. Like, yeah, it's easy for me to use Linux because I'm a tinkerer and love customization, but like uh there's a lot of people that just don't have that mindset. Like they don't want to spend their time customizing. They want to spend their time either gaming or doing creative stuff like artwork, um, just different stuff like that. Um, so everyone's different. Um, I know I had some more opinions about that. I'm just really concerned about my OBS right now. Because, like, here's the thing about OBS. I can't even record uh, with the regular Pac-Man package or the other because every time I try to open it up, it won't open up. So I don't know. Can I actually right-click on this? Oh, yeah, I could stop streaming it at any point with that if I wanted to. I'm just not going to be able to see the numbers, so we're good. We're good. Right, but that's why this is the year for Linux. We're seeing the strides being made in compatibility because so many more people are moving over to get off Google/Microsoft. I mean, yeah, there are like, especially, here's the thing. So you're gonna have people naturally because they just announced that the end of life for Microsoft, or not Microsoft, the end of life for Windows 10 is going to come up in October. So they're coming off of that. They don't want to use it because of Windows. Actually, I don't even know how people feel because of Windows Recall because that was like a year ago. Like I was around just long enough for them to come out with Windows Recall, and then that's kind of when I was like I don't care anymore and just went to Windows for like a year. But yeah. So you got end of life, you got Windows Recall. There's a lot of other things that they're doing that's just not really. It's just not something I like that they're doing. But yeah, compatibility is coming a long way. If we could just get more people to come to gaming on Linux. Well, actually, in order for that to happen, there would have to be more compatibility. If we could get more developers to come off their high horse in regards to this, like that would be great. Like for people to be able to come to it. The other thing, I think a lot of it just depends too because they're not like some people's not going to want to come off of it because of your Microsoft Office products and your Adobe suite. Yeah, a lot of it has to do with forced AI. Yeah, that's kind of what I don't like about X right now, formerly known as Twitter. They're going with all of this like here's Grok and here's like all this AI stuff that we're gonna do, and I'm just like, I don't even know if they're planning on doing AI with X, but like there was somewhere that I was at where I felt like it was being pressed upon me. I know that they are wanting to do that with Windows at some point. Like they're wanting to force the they're just wanting to force AI and stuff, and I'm just like, no, let's not. Like, yeah, I agree. Everyone is on a different path and has different needs. Yeah, I think in the same vein though, there are ways that people can use Linux. Like they don't just have to use it to tinker with it. This is why we've got environments like Cinnamon and KDE and even GNOME for that matter. Even though a lot of people don't like GNOME, I like some of GNOME's products. I'm just gonna come right out and say it. I like some of GNOME's products. I also like some of KDE's products. Don't know Cinnamon enough, but I know enough about it to recommend Linux Mint to anyone. But yeah, everyone, yeah, absolutely. They do have different paths and different needs. At the same time, if here's the thing, if they wanted to, they could come to Linux. They could. I think a lot of it just has to do with compatibility issues. Like, am I going to be able to use it for work? I think is a lot of people's concerns. Like, one of my concerns at the time was like, luckily my job actually uses Linux. So, like, they use Ubuntu. And so I also, at the same time, like, if I ever had to contact my supervisors, they would want to do it through like Microsoft Teams, and I'm like, well, how am I going to do that? So I was finally able to make it work with Teams for Linux. So like the browser version of Teams works that I know of. I don't think I'd have to use it for. I think it would work for all scenarios. But let's see. I refused X for other reasons. Yeah. X is controversial. I don't even know if I don't even know if I want to stay on X. I think I should just delete it because, like, if anyone wants to get up with me, they can contact me through YouTube or they can contact me through Discord. Yeah, okay, so that's the thing. Like, people are going to dislike GNOME. I get that. Like, I'm the only one probably that's going to have the opinion that I like some GNOME products. But I will say that if it wasn't for GNOME, I probably wouldn't have enjoyed my Linux experience when I first came. So it does have a special place, I guess, in my heart. I mean, as far as Mac and stuff like that goes, if they would just come out with a Linux phone that I could do everything that I needed to on, that would be great. I use an iPhone. I have a Apple Watch that I use with it too, just because I want things that are simple. I've never used a MacBook in my life, but I use an iPhone just because it's a lot more convenient for me, and it gets the job done. Kaji, hi, welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining us. Web apps have definitely changed the landscape. Like, that's the great thing about GeForce Now is like being able to use, to be able to play your favorite games, and I can't stress this enough. I keep talking about Fortnite. I used to play Fortnite a lot. I don't play it as much as I used to, but it was really great at the time. And so, yes, I would also recommend GNOME to Mac people too. I recommend it if you want something like super simple. In fact, that's another video that I want to make too, where it's like I'm talking about. Actually, no, I think that would be my Year of the Linux Desktop video, where I go into like different types of users, because like I'm just gonna throw this out there. If you want something simple and something that looks like really good, and you're rich, and that's the key word, if you're rich, I would go with a MacBook probably. However, people can use it for all kinds of things. Like, I know a lot of people will use Macs for the creativity aspect. So like iMovie, their Adobe products, whatever they need to, they would get it done. Yeah, so never played Fortnite. Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. Fortnite is just it's I don't know. I enjoyed having my custom uh skins. I like I'm not very good at the game. Very rarely will I get a number 1 in the game. But like the closest I'll ever get in most cases will be like number 2. Uh but sometimes I'll just pop in Fortnite. I like Fortnite just to see how well it does. Um, let's see what else is there. Wow, this stream has been it's been going for a while. I really like this. My distro using Arch Linux, buddy. Arch, by the way. Yeah, it's running Hyperland on Arch, and also using Waybar. I think Hyperland and Waybar is obvious because of the title of the video. But nonetheless, yeah, it is Arch Linux. And let's see what else. I feel like I need to fuel up on my soda. And I triple dog dare somebody to just tell me, "Oh, soda's bad for you. Why don't you have water instead?" Blah, I don't want water. Water is like, I'm okay. Water's not that bad. Here's the thing about water. Water is like Deer Park is the only one that I can stand. Other than that, I really need something with some flavor. I'm headed out. Have a great rest of your day. Good luck with OPS. Well, hey, thanks for stopping by. I'm glad you could make it. And I hope you have a great rest of your day as well. And I'll see you around. Boy. Yeah, probably what's going to happen here anyway is I'll probably close out in the next 20 minutes or so. But for now, you've got me until I decide until I wants to do something else. Probably the next stream that we'll be doing, I'll probably end up. It's either going to be some retro gaming, or it's probably going to be like maybe some artwork, because I really want to get this tablet that I can hook up to my laptop and do some drawing and stuff like that. That would be really great. Um, I just I gotta wait until I get paid. I gotta wait until I get paid again. But I'm really wanting to do some different type of stuff. I've been kind of experimenting a little bit with that. Um, but yeah, it's all good. Arch, by the way, obviously. Yeah. Um, no, when I came back to Linux, I said I want to do Arch because I want to be able to customize whatever I want. It's still not helping me out with my OBS situation, but I'll take what I can get. Um, my IDE. Um, I don't know if you're trying to say desktop environment or if you're trying to say something else. If you're trying to say something else, let me know what it is that you're trying to get at. Um, but yeah, I'm going to take a moment just to breathe. You don't recognize it. Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out like what it is that um, you're asking me. Like what is a? I mean, I could. You know what? Let me just search it real quick. In integrated development environment. Okay, so I'm not really using a environment that, you know what, I'm just gonna say this. I'm confused by the question. Uh, I've never heard of IDE before, so I don't know if that means uh what it means exactly, and I'm not gonna pretend that I know what I'm talking about when I don't. Um, but like Vim, VS C Code, Notepad. Oh, gotcha. My bad. So yeah, so I if I want to use something in the terminal, I'll use Vim. If I am using like what I'm using now, I'm using Genie. So Geany is what I'm using. I've been using it for a while now, and I enjoy it. Um, yeah, yeah. Thanks for the help with that. Um, yeah. So Janie is what I work with at the moment. I just I have to have something that I can just like run my mouse around and stuff like that in it. Like Vim is great. I don't want to spend all my time in a terminal trying to uh, format whatever I need to format. Yeah, so Genie is something that I heard about thanks to Just a Guy Linux. Um, and I'm trying to figure out how to best explain it because it's like it's kind of like VS Code, maybe. Not it's not really, but it kind of is. Notepad plus plus. I remember using that when I was on Windows. Um, uh, it was impressive if I was on Windows, but if I was on Windows, I would just go with VS Code. If I was on it, well, with me being on Linux, I'm always going to use Genie. Um, but yeah, I would check it out if you want something that, because like a lot of people say, oh no, I don't want to use VS Code. No, I don't want to do anything with Microsoft. And you know, I understand. I get that. So what I usually recommend to people is just like um, going with something like Genie. Um, let's see, what else could I talk about? It's just a habit, so I understand it. Yeah. Um, I mean, yeah, that's the thing about Vim. Vim is like really good about in the terminal if you want to like edit uh if you want to edit files that you can't really access in a normal setting. So like if you need to sudo into a file, that's where Vim comes in handy. Like you just sudo vim and then whatever the path is, and then yeah, it's not that I don't know my way around Vim. It's just that I prefer not to use it unless I absolutely have to, which is that's why it's great whenever I'm in the terminal. Because like there'll be times, for example, where if I mess up on a configuration or whatever, then I'm gonna have to go into a separate TTY or something like that, and just figure out like how to fix my problems from there. Like I've had to do that before, where like I would mess up in something, and then sure enough I can't boot back into my system, and then I'd have to use Vim, go back into it. Sublime, I have heard of Sublime. It's I don't know, it didn't really impress me all that much. I think I would rather use VS Code than I would Sublime. I am from the United States. Um, yeah, from the U.S. Just taking a moment so I can, because like I didn't even expect to have this much conversation, but I enjoy having conversations with my viewers. Um, okay, you're from France. Gotcha. It's nice to to know someone from France. Um, yeah, I've heard a lot of things about France. However, I don't know if Dumb and Dumber has ruined my view of France. That's just a joke, really. No, I think we have actually gotten a lot of things from France. Like we were gifted the Lady Liberty, and so I think France is beautiful in some aspects. Oh, you see 2 p.m. Yeah, yeah. I like to show my screen because I like being able to show everyone the possibilities of Hyperland and Waybar every time I do a video. So every chance I get, I like to show it. Um, in regards to um, the time, yeah. Um, yeah, I'm on Eastern Standard Time or Eastern Time. Um, let's see what else is there. Thanks USA too, but it depends of the aspect. Same for you, I think. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Also, thank you for hanging out with the stream. Glad to have y'all all here. How is everyone doing today? You doing good? Doing good. No, thank you. I am all right. Okay, so I think this is going to be about the time that we say goodbye, unless anyone has anything that they would like to uh, speak about. Um, so last minute thoughts. Yeah, this was my Hyperland stream in 2025. Just trying to show everyone the possibilities that you could do with it. Um, how old am I? Uh, I am 31. Yeah, so here's the thing about the Linux space though. Like there are a lot of people that I have met that are like kind of older than me, if not way older than me, and it's I don't know, it's neither here nor there. I think it's interesting. No, I'm here for talk if anyone wants to have a chat. I'm starting to run out of things to talk about because I already uh, went over my basic thing, um, which was the Hyperland Waybar stuff. Yeah, yeah, definitely. I would say so. I've been working with computers since I was like 6 or 8 years old, and so I used to do a lot of customizations. Like I remember back in Windows XP when I was customizing my own cursor and customizing like the font, and I customized the like um, the taskbar and all that good stuff. I was using like different themes and tweaking them the way that I wanted them to look. But then, like when MySpace came out, I was doing a lot of HTML coding with that. Um, and then um, I think back in like 2016 or something like that was when I started like playing around with computer builds. Like I was physically, well, actually before that, I think I was like 9 years old when I first started putting computers together. So I was like really young when I got into computers. It's just something that I had always been interested in, and so um, it always gave me something to do. Um, but yeah, definitely a lot of IT background. I've done a lot of coding in my life. Uh, I've done Discord bots as well. Although I would argue that Discord bots aren't as necessary as they were back in the day. That because like you've got all these general Discord bots now, and like it costs money to get a server and everything for it. So I just don't do it these days. But it is definitely, let's see. I have Start at 10 with Scratch, block code, and I have Switch on Arduino in web and secondary. Now I'm in engineering studying computer sciences. Oh, okay. Yeah, so you also have quite a bit of background too. That's interesting. I think a lot of people that come to Linux, they come to Linux because they like being able to code a lot, and and that's what's great about it is that I thoroughly enjoyed being able um, to customize the way that I wanted to customize my experience. It was just really nice for me, and I'm sure that is nice for a lot of other people too, for that matter. Um, yeah, I'm trying to figure out because I'm just trying to figure out like what is. Oh, you joined the Discord. Cool. Yeah. Yeah. You can always get in contact with me there. Um, Usually there's not really a whole lot in the Discord right now because there's not enough people that have joined to like start up a conversation. But like if you ever need help with anything, or you want to be able to post your risings, or you want to help out other people, or just talk with people in the community, that's what the Discord is there for. And you can always you know you can always get in contact with me. Uh, I have Don't Pass the Wall of Linux for now, but I'm very interesting. Yeah, so, oh yeah, I guess that's what I was saying about Linux. Linux is great for like those who want to tinker and customize, and that's what I enjoy the most out of my system is being able to do all of that. And it just, I don't know, it passes the time for me because like, so I work a job that was like 5 days a week and it's full time, but then like the other time that I have to myself, I just don't know what to do with it. And so coding was one of the things that I have thoroughly enjoyed, and that I want to work with. Um, Honestly, I start to learn C. I don't know if you have any experience in it. No, I don't have any experience with it necessarily. Although that there's a lot of things that you can do with C as far as like programming applications and stuff like that is concerned. My work has mostly been with Lua, Python, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, um, even some JSON. Even though I don't like JSON, um, I've worked in quite a few different languages before. I think the one that I've always enjoyed the most, however, was probably JavaScript. If I'm going to be honest, it was always nice. So, yeah. Um, huh. I like Linux for the customization too, but for the freedom, open source aspect, and the complexity. Gotcha. Um, yeah, there is a little bit of freedom in being able to do what you want with your system. The open source thing, I can get down with. I can enjoy the fact that there are uh, people out there that just uh, want to create for the sake of creating. I can get down with that. Um, and usually when I can, I try to support the creators of the packages. Some of them. Um, I can't always do that. The only thing that I can really do at this point, that's not like monetary value, is like just be able to offer, uh, like my content to people, and like show them like what you can do with this person's product, and like just get it out there. That's about the best that I can really do. So I do like to support creators in that aspect. As far as like everything else though, to me, my biggest concern with Linux has always been customization. Other than that, it's, let's see, if there was anything else that I had to do for that, I would say I enjoy things being free and open source, but I'm not the type of person that is going to be like, oh, I have to use everything free and open source. Like that's just not me, you know. Um, I'm more about the customization, but I also like my freedoms to do whatever. But here's the thing about being free too. Like, you're not always going to be free from everything. Like, if you have a Google account, like, you're not going to be free from that. You're not going to be free from Microsoft or a lot of these other products that you end up using. And it's a sad reality for me to know that, but that's just the game, really. Um, you have two distros which interest me, is Arch and NixOS. Now, NixOS is interesting to me. I have never used NixOS, but from what I understand, it uses one configuration file, and like it combines a bunch of distributions together. I don't know if that's the same one I'm thinking about, but like it is definitely interesting. Okay. Well, let me back up. It's not the the distributions; it's their package managers that you have access to. Like, you have all access to all the package managers from those distributions. Um, Arch. Here's the thing that interests me. Um, I I usually use either Arch or Debian. Those are my go tos. If I had to recommend something to somebody, I would always recommend either Linux Mint or Pop! OS to someone. It just depends on what type of environment that you want to work with. Um, but uh, yeah, so, oh, that's the interesting thing. Okay, so I can just minimize and maximize, and then my numbers will show up like they're supposed to. Nice. Um, okay, so let's see. My C teacher used Debian. Gotcha. I'm sorry that you were hacked this morning. Uh, yeah, that's not a good thing at all. Um, but yeah, Debian is it's great for certain things. Um, yeah, they're still a company. I think it really just comes down to like how do you want to use your computer. If you want like stable and secure, usually that's their talking points. Um, and I don't know. I mean, yeah, I guess it just doesn't bother me so much about whether or not something is a company. It probably should bother me more, but it just doesn't. I think that's the reason. Actually, that's the reason why I don't like Ubuntu is because they're a company. Um, it's just like working with Canonical and then trying to work with all the bugs that they still have with it. Every time I install uh, Ubuntu, there's always some sort of problems that I'm running into with it, and so I just yeah, I'm not really into it. Um, let's see, you have BSD. BSD I have never used before. Can't say that I ever have. Um, actually, I want to do something while we're talking. Um, let me. Studio mode. Okay, so that means that I could create a new one. Uh, main. And then. I just want to see if this thing will work the way I want it to. Okay, so we'll just fade. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, not too bad. Because, like, at this point, we're not talking about. I don't want to do it to like a. Oh, yeah, there we go. Sorry, still learning a little bit about. Well, no, I know my way around OBS. It's just. Um, yeah, there we go. Yeah, it's a big face now. Uh, yeah, I mean, I'm not talking about coding at this point, so like, I figured I could just show my face. But yeah, this is what you're seeing here. This is my PNG tuber thing. So basically, it blinks every now and again, and then when I'm talking, it's got an open mouth, and when it's not talking, it's got a closed mouth. I just I wanted to see how well it worked today, um, and it seems to be working okay. Um, yeah, I had an OBS bug, uh, and it was uh yeah, that was the thing. I tried to open OBS today because I was using the Titan 652 one, and it would not open for the life of me. And I tried to install using the Pac-Man version of the install, and it was not working for whatever reason. And so I I just installed the Flatpak version because that's the second best thing. If I couldn't get it to open any other way, that's just the way that I did it. So yeah, yeah, OBS definitely has something weird going on with it. I'm just not sure what it's got going on with it. But yeah, Linux is cool except when it's bugs. Yeah, I mean, I would say that there are some Windows users that feel the same way about Windows. It's like Windows is really good when I'm not having any issues, right? It's always good. um, but yeah, I'm really wanting to venture out into like VTuber stuff. I want to see if there is anyone that is because I would be willing to pay for it, by the way. But like, if there's anyone that would be willing to rig me up something and like recommend me something that I can use for uh like lip syncing my current drawings here. Just going from there. What I want to do is I think I'm going to upgrade my avatar to this dude that you're seeing here. Um, it was mostly a test for that, and mostly a test to see if I could how to do that. VTuber used the cam for detection. Yes, they would. Some of them would end up using a cam for like face. It's called a face tracker, and so like it would. Some of them can figure out. Um, some of them use the face tracker, and then some of them would just use like mouth patterns. I guess it depends because like I used to use OpenTunes because I used to do some animations back in the day, but um, their system for doing lip sync is like it's an automatic thing now. Yeah, there's quite a few different programs for it, and I've looked into all the different types of programs that I could look into for using um, like some sort of lip sync idea. I just don't know how to do it, and I don't know how to do it well, and what everyone else is using and how they use it. I'm just not that gifted in knowing how to use it. So yeah, it's just one of those things. Um, but yeah, um, I think I'm gonna go ahead and go for now. I want to thank everyone for joining the stream, and yeah, and so I have enjoyed myself today, being able to show you guys um, my setup and everything. Um, if there's any last words, let me know now, and if not, then I will head on out. Gotcha, gotcha. Alrighty. Well, yeah. Thanks for joining, and I will. Let's see. But on Twitch, you have a VTuber who have a amazing setup. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I see people doing setups all the time. I just don't know. Uh, her V. Yeah. Yeah. I've seen the 3D setups. I just don't know if I want to go with the 3D route, just because of I don't know. I don't need a whole lot. I just need to be able to do lip sync is the biggest thing. I don't need my character to like move all over the place. I wonder if if I don't enable preview, if it will go to 60. Yeah, I wanted to test something out to see because like my FPS keeps bouncing back and forth. Yeah, I guess I would just have to close out the program if I was going to do that. I don't know. This might not be a viable option simply because this is also running uh, off of my graphics card and it's not really keeping up. I don't know what to do about it. I'd also have to figure out something that's not going to make my FPS go crazy. She used the tracksuit for it and it's impressive. Gotcha. Gotcha. All right. Well, yeah, you can always contact me in Discord if you find something, and if not, that's cool too. I wouldn't worry about it too much. Uh, yeah, no, I get it. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and head on out. It's my time. But yeah, thank you all for joining, and I shall see you guys later on. I don't know when the next stream will be, but just be on the lookout for it. And yeah, see you guys later.